Oh, sorry, I was just singing along.
Keep going, don't stop.
Love that song. That's a great song.
Yeah, isn't it fantastic? Always sends a shiver down your spine, that's for sure. That was part of the Croatian Statehood Day celebrations in Canberra, straight after last Saturday's massive game between Canberra Croatia and Canberra Olympic. The Canberra Croatia won, and we're going to find out all about that with our next guest, the president of Canberra Croatia, Tony Vidovich, who joins us here on the Oz Cro Soccer Show. Tony, how are you?
Yeah, pretty good, boys. How are yourself?
Oh, very good, mate. Very good. You know, we're celebrating Auntie's birthday here, but mate, you're celebrating a lot more over there in the nation's capital. And tell us about Saturday and how it all went down.
Oh, look, it was one of those iconic soccer nights that you'd want to attend. The weather was perfect. There was no wind. It was, a bit chilly, but a typical soccer night. The stadium was packed. The atmosphere was electric. And what made it even more special was that our players actually turned it on for once this year. So that just put everybody in great spirits, and it was a big night after.
How important
some photos
is this
there as well?
Absolutely. So how important is the Australia Cup for a club like Canberra Croatia to get onto the national stage?
Oh, look, our club's goal, our number one goal this year was to qualify for the Australia Cup round of 32. When I came into this position 5 years ago, we stated then that our main aim was the Fed Cup. For a little club like us in Canberra, there's no exposure, there's no media exposure in Canberra. So the only way that you can get your club out there to everyone else in Australia and maybe in Croatia as well is when you do something like this. Like you saw Sydney United last year when they won it, it went worldwide, So this is massive. I mean, we love the championship. We won it last year, but we were in the Australia Cup in 2017 the last time. We know how hard in Canberra, we only get one spot in Canberra, it's so hard to qualify. And this year we did it the hardest way. Every time there was a draw, we got, the next top team below us. We played all the top teams in the league and we beat each and every one of them and qualified. And it's such a, I know the coaching staff and the players have a great achievement. The Suns so relieved that they've done it and celebrated hard on Saturday. Some kept celebrating on Sunday.
As they should.
I know it was a bit foggy, but Tuesday training was good. The boys were nice and they train again tomorrow, and turn our attention back to the league where you showed the table there earlier. We're only we're sixth out of 8 or whatever it was. Yeah. So we sort of played a game of poker. We put all in for the Fed Cup. We got that. So now the boys got to really turn it on. They showed everyone that they can turn it on. And in Canberra, it's only an 8-team competition. So we play each other 3 times, and we knew whatever happens in the first round, we've got 2 more rounds to go and can beat all the teams that have had the number on us. So we're going to go all out now and try and get high up on the ladder as we can.
Yeah, we saw the competition standings there, and as you said, it's an 8-team competition. Has there been talk? There's always talk everywhere about expansion, whether it's the A-League, where it's the National Second Division, where it's NPL competition. Has there been talk in Canberra, about expanding it either to a 10-team competition, or is there just not enough talent? Is it just too diluted if you were to do that?
Yeah, look, it's much of a muchness in Canberra. You're going to disappoint the lower-ranked teams, whichever way you go. But I think the big question in Canberra is whether we should be part of an NPL, because it's proving to be so expensive these days, and expensive for clubs to run, and also expensive for the juniors. For for the young parents. You know, when we're charging, you know, $1,700. You know, I know Melbourne and Sydney is a lot more, but you know, especially now with what's happening in the current economic environment, if it doesn't improve,
Yeah,
a lot of things do. But most of the clubs in Canberra at the moment, we've been talking this year, and we're actually all leaning towards maybe we've got a NPL and a CPL, like a Div 2, that's got about 8 teams in there as well. So we're actually talking about maybe increasing the NPL to maybe 10 teams. You know, you've got teams like Ugali from Western New South Wales. You've got Queanbeyan Macedonia. You've got White Eagles. You know, these are all clubs that have big followings. So maybe bring them in and see what they can do. If you know, we can improve the quality by playing a few extra games and not doing, you know, just the 8 teams for 3 rounds.
yeah.
And how does it go with having O'Connor in the same league as you guys? Is there a friendly rivalry? Does it improve? Like, do people get behind it, the community and all those sorts of things? Is it help or hinder you guys?
Oh no, it's a big help. It's a big help. Anything that helps football is massive, and them coming on to the NPL scene has been huge. The locals call it the Chavapi Cup. So
love it.
And they've come from 2nd division into 1st division, settled down, and they've got a great team, you know, and they really push. Very rarely this year, I don't think they've had any big results, but against them, they've certainly achieved big results, and they push all the teams to the wire, and you know, that's why they're so highly placed up on that ladder, up in 4th spot at the moment.
Yeah, the O'Connor Knights taking on Canberra Olympic. Wouldn't it be good if the poor old Gritzi end up losing to a Croatian club two weeks in a row? And you guys have got Tuggeranong United as well, so a chance to really distance yourself from those bottom 2 there, Tony.
That program's been changed a bit. They've swapped a few of the games over to align with.
Oh, have they?
Yeah, so we're playing the Tigers, who were 1st or 2nd, and I'm not actually 100% sure who O'Connor are playing.
Oh, there you go. So it's been shifted around a little bit. There you go. So where are you guys playing, at home or away against Tigers?
At the AIS, where the Tigers' home ground.
Okay. Oh, there you go. Great breaking news there.
Check the socials for all the latest games. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, now, Tony, look, last week we had Adrian Portage on, Gold Coast Knights president, and we spoke about the national 2nd division, and your club is another club, one of 4 Croatian clubs, and as Ante mentioned, the 4 clubs, if the Melbourne Knights get through, have all got through to the national stage of the Australia Cup. The national 2nd division, what does it mean for you? How important is it for Canberra, Croatia, and where are we now with regards to that?
Yeah, look, so our soccer club, the Canberra Croatia Football Club, we strive to play in the best competition that we can. Is, you know, in the late 80s, we had a team in the New South Wales State League. There was a local Canberra team. They went broke. We took it over. We were in there for 6 years. We reached the finals 4 times in those 6 years. And then after the 6th year, the club voted that they didn't want us there anymore because probably we were just a bit more successful than they were. But I think in the bigger picture for our club, it's really important because we need to give our juniors a pathway, somewhere to aspire to. You know, our club's got some fantastic juniors, some really young kids that have had great coaching over the last 5 years that are really now starting to develop, mature, who are ready to take that next step. And for them to have something to aspire to like that, we'll really push them and drive them to be better and better and maybe get on that next stage that the B League will give. I've got no doubt that the B League, whichever way it's introduced, will be one of the most successful things that Football Australia do introduce. It'll just it will be the shot in the arm, I think, that football in Australia. Where we're at with it at the moment, we actually had the Association of Australian Football Clubs, which we're a member of, and Sydney United and Melbourne Knights and all that are as well. We had a meeting on Monday. We're still waiting on Football Australia to release the paperwork of the request for process phase of what we need to do. We've had a board meeting. The boards, we've all said, yep, we're going to go ahead with it. We're going to, invest as much as we can, do what we need to do, and if we're good enough, let them tell us that we're good enough. And if we're not good enough, let them tell us, you're not good enough for it. And then, try and get better and improve that way. But yeah, so we're just waiting on the paperwork, which should be this week or next week. And we'll take it from there.
Have you heard any changes about the structure? Because initially they were talking about a 12 to 16 team competition, round robin during the winter.
Champions League.
Now they're talking about Champions League type of system. And so, yeah, it seems to be changing. And of course, you guys have to start planning for next year. So how long, will you guys need to plan?
Well, that's exactly right. The more harder it is to plan. The structure, the AAFC has said, we're introducing this into the soccer culture and the thing here in Australia. So let's just have one competition of everybody. But Football Australia early on made a few noises of a Champions League style, North versus South, all this sort of stuff, which not really appeals. If we're going to do something, let's build from it. This round stuff. We can all control our finances as much as we can, and we know what we need to do and to survive. And let's give it 3 or 4 years, and let's see how we go, and just do it properly for once. Start from the bottom and work our way and build into it. So yeah, that's what I'm hoping that they do, but you just don't know.
And look, speaking of the finances, I guess clubs outside of the Melbourne, Sydney bubble, if you like, they would probably be subjected to a lot more costs, particularly things like travel and maybe relocation of players, etc., etc. Have you kind of done any feasibility study as to how much you'd expect an annual budget for Canberra, Croatia? That is, how much would that involve?
Yeah,
are we talking 1, 2, 3, 5, $10 million? What are we talking about?
Football Australia have certainly done some sort of feasibility on some numbers, which we just blew everybody out of the water. But what they really realize is the clubs that they're promoting into the B League are NPL clubs. We've all been in the NPL environment for the last 10, 15, 20 years. So we can't. Our finances aren't what they're probably going to tell us that they are, but we can certainly build and grow and get sponsorships over the years to increase. As for Canberra, I think we're a little bit different. We're centrally located to Sydney, Melbourne, just a little bit further from Brisbane. Are we going to compete for players like the Melbourne and Sydney clubs? No, I don't think that that's something that we could do with our finances, but certainly we can attract younger players and give them a go, to showcase their thing. So the model that we'll do probably might be a bit different to some other clubs, but and the financing will be a lot different, I would suggest. And I think but the main thing is our locality will probably help us with the travel and those sort of expenses a fair bit.
I'll have a suggestion. I was going to say, Ante, if we're going to go for a compromise, and if we're going to go, if we are going to go down the model of having a Champions League, let's at least have the 4 Croatian clubs in one group. How good would that be? That would be brilliant, yeah. But
that's a mini tourney. That's a mini tourney before the tourney,
home and away, yeah, far out. Come on, the crowds. Could you imagine?
We can go to the Croatia and christen the new stadium for them, yeah.
Oh, that's so good. The final being played over there. I tell you what, that'll be good.
That'll be awesome.
Ante, you're going to say something.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I love when I walk into the Deakin Club and I see that, wall of honour, basically, and you've got Josip Šimanić there, of course, who was a junior at Canberra, Croatia. You have Ned Zelic, who, of course, was a junior there. And then you see people like Kofi Danning and all that sort of stuff. Have you got some players who potentially could reach those levels of those players?
Oh, yeah, we've got some, and don't forget Stephen Lustitzer's in there as well. So
another one.
They're in there. Yeah, we've got some really good players coming up. Just for an example, we've got our NPL 18s are made up of 15-year-olds. We had to get special permission for them to play in the 18 competition, and they're first or second on the ladder.
Wow! And how are they going? Oh, wow! That's excellent.
Yeah, they've got some great coaching. They've been together for a while. They know the coaches and the kids know what their limitations are. They do that every year, and they build. We've got a reserve grade team who's second, I think, second or third on the ladder. Full of young kids. So it's really looking promising for our. We just have to try and give them something to want to stay at the club and work towards.
Yeah, no, that's an interesting.
Sorry, I was just going to say, you said you've been there for 5 years as president. Have the coaches and all those sorts of things been there for quite a while as well? Is that sort of environment that you're building at Canberra Croatia?
That's right. That was one of the first things that we did, try and get good coaches and provide, coaches that have got their, B license. So they know what they're doing and they know how to deal with the kids. And we've had everyone that's been here over the last 5, 6, 7 years has been great. Some have moved on to other clubs, which, you can't keep everyone forever. Their kids grow and they move and that. But, yeah, it's been, top part of the first intake. And he's now at Melbourne Victory, doing really well down there. So, yeah, no, the coaches, that's what, my opinion, that's what gives you your success and your juniors, and developing your juniors is good coaching. That's one of the key ingredients that you need.
Yeah. Well, I'll give a shout out to two young Canberra Croatia boys, Kadel Zwangabani and Michael Pratejina. They've been selected via the Capital Football TSP Under-15 program to take part in a Football Australia talent development match. Football New South Wales alongside Football Australia will be hosting this talent development match on Wednesday, 7th of June, with kickoff at 6 p.m. So that's happening actually tonight as we speak. So some local boys getting some national recognition there as well. Now, back to that national second division.
They're two young boys that play in the 18s team, and they're playing in the national. They were identified last year. Michael Pratejna actually went to the Vukovar Cup last year with the German diaspora team and played in there with the Rakic boys. So, yeah, great, fantastic players.
Fantastic. There you go. And talking about the national second division, getting back to the national second division, I know there's talk that if you're in the national second division, then you have to give up an NPL spot, NPL license. Is there room? Is there scope, because Canberra being a regional area, and should Canberra Croatia come out, it almost makes the league unfeasible. Is there scope for Canberra to be able to field a youth team in the local NPL competition, or at least create a sister club or something like that, in addition to O'Connor Knights?
Yeah, look, we will certainly have the players to do that. We've got no doubt about that. And that was one of the key areas that we identified early. We don't want to leave the local competition. And we've said that to our local federation as well, that this is our matter. We've competed. We were formed in 1958 in the second division. In 1959, we went into the first division, and we've been in there ever since, and we want to continue and having a team in there just for the local comp. We can't just neglect it like that, and won't have any problem fielding a team in that comp. We've actually got the coaching structure we've got now. There's already an agreement where one will just coach the local Canberra team, and the other one, should he want to, will go up to the B League. So, it's that's one of the key things that we'll be negotiating with the Football Australia.
Makes perfect sense, yeah.
But the problem is there will be no promotion for a long time. But if you get relegated, you get relegated back into your local. Yeah, which won't be a problem. We'll just relegate the big boys back into third grade level.
Yeah. Well, hopefully all 4 Croatian clubs can get there, and there is no relegation, rather a just continuous promotion and what you're not. But Tony, thanks so much for your contribution this week. We really appreciate it. Ante, did you have any? I got to let the birthday boy have the last say. Have you got any questions for Tony?
No, not really. I just want to say, is it true that Ricky Stewart comes to the Deakin Club for a drink in his off between training sessions? I've heard that's true.
Oh, look, we don't disclose. We're a really boutique club, and we have some real influential people that come there, and we don't give out that sort of information. But you could probably draw from that what you like.
On that note, the old "what happens on tour stays on tour" adage here. Tony, thank you so much for joining us, and we'd love to get you on a little bit later on in the show. Big shout out to all our Canberra viewers who are tuning in for the first time today. Hopefully, you guys will stay on and watch us each week. But we wish you all the very best for the competition in the NPL, as well as whatever happens with the National Second Division. And you're heading to warmer climates very soon, so safe travels as well.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me, boys. And Arthur, have a good
All the
birthday.
best.